There we go.
And I'm adding him. Do we not get
volume's way too loud. Hi, everybody.
Hey, James.
What's that?
So, I'm loading up the Twitch stream right now. I'm not entirely sure what Lone is doing.
Just turn War for the Overworld right down because, of course, because the game is still at the point it's at. We don't have options to change, do we? So I will turn that right down.
That's why we have Windows audio mixers.
Yes. Right. I'm actually going to mute my mic because otherwise all you'll hear from me whilst I'm playing this is, "Oh, I love this game so much! I love this game so much!" So yeah.
No, don't you mute your mic. Just continue to talk.
I love this game so much! I love this game so much! I love this game so much!
Hello.
Right. Calm down.
I like this game too.
James, we hope you like it.
Well, some days, maybe not.
Some days. Yeah.
Hello.
I say.
Hello.
All right, guys. So, welcome to the Sanitarium.FM birthday charity gaming extravaganza. This is the indie game show segment. I'm Dimebot, the normal host of the show. I'm joined by my other normal host, Predicted Cyborg, and streaming for us today and driving the game is Lone Samurai, our station owner, and we're joined by James from Subterranean Studios, the makers of this marvelous game, who's probably going to get sick of us gushing all over it.
Oh no, gush away.
No, they're already sick of me gushing, seriously.
Or it is your tether to this realm.
Every time I see you guys.
You will be banished to the ether.
Yeah, I was a huge fan of the original Dungeon Keeper and Dungeon Keeper 2, and I had frankly despaired of ever seeing a sequel to those games. And then one day I just happened across this and was like, I saw that the hand for the cursor and then the green tiles around the room, and I was like, that looks awfully familiar.
By ordering your workers to expand your dungeon.
And I started watching, and then I saw somebody slap a minion, and I was like, that's Dungeon Keeper. I don't care what they're naming it, that is what I want. So.
Oh, we're glad you found it.
How did you guys decide to bring the game back?
The people that originally started the project were all part of a website called Keeper Clan. It's sort of like the last remaining community that's around or set around Dungeon Keeper, and they'd like mod it and make it better and add their own maps and stuff. So there were a handful of people on there, and then it eventually sort of grew into this thing where we had a group of people that had the talent to be able to actually make a game. That all wanted to make the game, and then Kickstarter.
And then Kickstarter. I'm actually really glad. Sometimes Kickstarter irritates me, but I'm glad it was here in this case because I don't know that we would have what we have now with this game if it wasn't for Kickstarter.
We definitely would not. We'd probably all still be working on it in our free time, but we certainly would not be nearly as far as we currently are.
Yeah, and
I would have gotten a mortgage out to make this happen.
one thing we have seen though is that stuff like this, as a labor of love, even without Kickstarter, does get done, but sometimes it takes a long time. Let's just look at Black Mesa as an example.
Right. That's a very good example.
Black Mesa is something I'm excited about because original Half-Life, I played it when I was in college. And the original Half-Life doesn't really hold up that well today, but the concepts behind it and the execution were mind-blowing at the time. They've been working on Black Mesa for, I don't know, 10 years?
Something like that. Like half as long as I've been alive, probably.
Black Mesa's been one of those things that's been going for a while, but I think one of my favorite things about War for the Overworld really is just been sitting here and watching it as it's gone through the Bedrock beta.
Oh yeah.
And just changed because, when I first started playing it, like it was like tooltips. What tooltips? There are no tooltips here.
Definitely no. Did you play back with our old UI as well? It was.
Yes.
Yes.
It was so ugly.
Yeah,
I love the old the new UI, by the way.
I normally try to say a whole lot too bad about games that are, to our guest face or anything, or even behind their back, but that UI, I'm so glad that thing's gone. And the map, thank you, Jesus, for the map.
Deliciously done.
Yeah, the mini map. Nano just took it one day and decided to make a mini map, and the next day it was in the game.
One of those
He's
things.
talented like that.
Screw it, had enough people are bitching about it, here's the mini map, done it.
People were bitching about it. Oh my god, there's forum thread upon forum thread dedicated to that mini map. But I'm really curious as to what all you guys have planned for this game, because there's already some super cool stuff in it. And Lemon, I didn't see, what mode are you playing? Are you just doing a random dungeon?
I'm doing the tutorial.
You're doing a tutorial? So,
because this has the epic voiceover by Richard Ridings.
Yes. One of the things that I appreciate in the game is the fact that you guys were just like, we're just going to throw in a... now I can't think of the name of it. It's the defense mode.
Oh yeah, the survival mode?
The survival mode, yeah, thank you. Brain, we've been doing this too long, I'm starting to lose words. But yeah, the survival mode is just one of those things like... It was really interesting to try and play through that, because
it's probably really, really hard. We've never actually played or
it's not
balanced it. It hasn't changed since we made it, and it's meant to kill you like within the first 10 levels.
I don't know that I made it through the first 10 levels to get killed, so... I definitely did die quickly, though. It's a great idea, though, because it wasn't really something that was in the original, and it adds up some kind of changes. We have a question from our stream chat, which is it still compatible with Windows 8.1?
It should be. Our community manager uses Windows 8. There we go. Pete Fighter, one of our QA testers, is hanging out here. He'll probably also help answer questions.
Awesome. Hey, Pete Fighter. Oh, guys, we probably should, actually. Sai, are you with us, Sai?
Yeah, I'm still with you.
Since you normally are the social media guru, I think it's time for you to tweet blast this.
Okay, then I'll go tweet blast it.
Let everybody know that War for the
Sai.
Overworld.
I was just about to do it, but thank you.
Yeah, let them know that they are live with us and we are playing the game. So what are you guys, since we're all fans of the game, what are your favorite things about this game so far?
Is that for me?
Yeah, that's for your QA guys in the chat too, but definitely you.
Well, it's something that you guys don't get to see, but we have this really awesome level editing tool that I've been using to make the campaign, and it's super powerful. But in terms of what's in the game, I really like rituals. I think they're awesome, and I can't wait to potentially add more post-release. I just really like the mechanic and sort of that map-wide effect that you either have to plan for or that shows up and completely catches your enemy off guard, and then you go in and crush them.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. Now, speaking of level editor, because the original Dungeon Keeper had the, what did they call it? The pet dungeon thing?
My pet dungeon, yeah.
Yeah. What are the odds on us getting, kind of something similar to that, or our own limited version of the map editor for Steam Workshop or something with this game?
We're still working on the map editor. It's something we really, really want to do, although right now it's kind of difficult because it requires Unity Pro, which is very expensive. So it's something that we're definitely looking into, but it probably won't be a thing that we're able to do until after launch, unless we get lucky.
Gotcha. There's Simburger. Simburger says the Chunders and Underminers are the best things.
Chunders are the best things.
Chunders are amazing.
I love Chunders.
I wholeheartly agree with that.
I love tactical Chunders as well, but that's a
hate.
different thing entirely.
Cockload.
Right, it's been tweet blasted out.
Thank you, dear. There we go. How I know you said you're designing the campaign. The original campaigns from the original games were both pretty long in some ways and also pretty bloody hard towards the end. We're looking at kind of a nice long campaign with a good ramping up difficulty to where you get to the end and you're just like, I cannot believe I've beaten this.
The final few levels are, I think, going to be some of the most fun in any game I've ever played. Simburger and I have been putting a lot of time into sort of making it feel like an excellent ramp up towards the end. There'll be some good story in there, and a lot of challenge. Plus, you'll be walked through the Veins of Evil as you slowly unlock things, which I think will help a lot of newer players actually figure out what to do, because there's a lot of choices in this game.
Yeah, and for anybody watching that may not be 100% familiar with Dungeon Keeper or the concept of War for the Overworld, what you're seeing right now, I know it may look like a regular RTS where Lone is just building his base and everything, but that's not actually what he's doing. Lone is building a dungeon full of monsters because Lone is actually the bad guy in this game.
As is normally the case.
True. But in Dungeon Keeper and in War for the Overworld, you are the bad guy. You are the Dungeon Keeper, you are building the nefarious lair, and you are waiting for the hero to show up and try to kill you so you can trap him with
guys,
evil
you
traps.
see this little guy who's doing nothing? You see this little guy? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, are you... Stream lag, but I'm assuming you're slapping people. Lone, can you demonstrate one of the really unique things about War for the Overworld, which is, do you have possession yet?
I do.
Oh, weird. I thought it was disabled on this map.
Do you? Lone may have just found a bug in the tutorial map, everybody.
Oopsie! Oh dear. Yes, I did, in fact, actually.
Alright,
Well done, Dime. Break the game.
Well, guys, there's something that might need to be fixed, but also this is something that's interesting about War for the Overworld is because you don't necessarily have the ability, like StarCraft-style RTS, to direct your units directly to attack. You know, you can put down banners and rallying points for them, but when push comes to shove, and I think Lone just crashed, you can take direct control of the minions yourself, which is always fun. Lone.
I'm restarting it now. In fact, what I'm actually doing is also restarting my Steam client quickly to push getting the new client update, which Simburger just pushed out. So give me a second, and I will have it up for you.
Right.
Should be not possession tutorial. It should be if you trigger a cutscene with possession, open, the level will explode.
There you go. That's
There's
what
a couple
happened.
bugs left in the game.
Guys, the
broke
game is in beta, and I'm pretty sure that most of the Subterranean team right now is face palming at us exploding their game live on stream.
High priority. Always update this game.
Lone
Okay.
Simberg says you're on the wrong branch, which is what I was trying to tell you earlier.
Sorry.
So
Anyway,
if you
let's play the game.
hit properties, right click on your game, hit properties, you want to make sure that you're in the right branch for it. Because I think the other branch that's out right now is the previous build 0.4.2. So, I spend a little too much time looking at this game sometimes.
That's almost impossible.
Yeah. Also, you guys do something called War for the Overworld Wednesday, and it's a really neat kind of weekly developers blog, which is really nice to keep. Oh, Simburger, let me mod you real quick.
No, don't mod him. All those messages should be deleted.
No, mod him. Mod him because I say so.
Hold on, he managed to ban himself, get himself banned by Moobot.
What? Oh dear.
Oh God, there's a moment from the
I think
highlight
you just
reel.
did. What was it? It was playtesting, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
Ah,
Sorry about that, guys. World first, I think our Moobot banned a game developer. It should work now. Moobot is set to only allow mod links. Nope.
And of course,
Yes.
oh dear.
This makes getting out of bed today so much better.
Hold on. Let me look at who the mods are. God. I logged into the Moobot control panel to do this, so... Oh, he's broken. That's why. Let me kick Moobot real quick.
Whoopsie. Okay, I am actually updating War for the Overworld right now, so...
There we go. The joys of Twitch chat, guys. The automated mod bot breaks periodically, and just... it's a wreck.
This is why we use old school IRC for most of the time.
Yeah, so anyways, what I was going to say was the most recent spotlight for War for the Overworld Wednesday was actually something I've been excited about, which is the vampire.
Oh, the lovely vampire.
Yeah, so...
He looks awesome!
He does! Talk about that for a minute, because I'm really excited about having that unit.
So the vampire was one of those things. It was our worst kept secret. We teased it, I think, on our very first live stream, possibly back during Kickstarter, and never quite said, you know, it's definitely in the game or showed it off. We were kind of saving it till the very end. And we went for the very old school, black and white era kind of vampire look. And he's going to be sort of, he's kind of a fan service in that he's very difficult to control, sort of like the Horned Reaper from Dungeon Keeper 2.
Nice.
In that it's a sacrifice if you want to get him, even though he's super powerful. But he will mess you up if for some reason you can't keep him happy.
Yeah, and I remember that with Horny from Dungeon Keeper 2. He could be a worse liability than the actual enemy heroes.
Yeah, definitely. Because he's already in your dungeon, and he's very good at killing things.
Yeah, he is. Alright, War for the Overworld. There we go. So we're set for Twitch not wanting to cooperate. We're all good. You have been manned by Moobot millions of times. I'm going to kick Moobot for the duration of this show. So you guys just behave because he's been removed. Lone breaks their game, they break Lone streams. Fair is fair.
Lone breaks the game, and everybody in the world gets a new build. I love it.
Lone, restart your client again. Literally just pushed a new build with a new potion and ritual UI.
Yay!
I love this. So,
I'm way too happy for that to be told to me.
one thing that I have had a little bit of a problem with War for the Overworld a couple of times is finding people to play multiplayer with. So,
Yes, that should get better in the future because it's like the opt-in branch right now, and because it's very hard for some people to host due to port issues. It should be a lot better when multiplayer goes live. I'm sure there'll be a surge at least during that weekend when it first goes up.
I certainly hope so because I'm looking forward to just owning some people in that in the dungeons. It's just so much fun.
Mainly me.
Mainly you, yes. It's just so much fun to mine your way into the back of their dungeon when they're not looking.
Well, I'm always up for a game, but you're going to be hard pressed. I think I played a lot of this game.
Yeah, I was going to say I have learned the hard way by doing this show that it's probably going to be a painful experience when I take on a dev at their own game. So actually, I will say, random aside story. I learned that the hard way a long time ago when I was big in the Unreal Tournament scene with all the community content, and I landed in a match one day with Cliff Blazinski.
Oh,
And
nice.
as you can imagine, we got slaughtered.
I can bet.
I mean, it was nasty. I never want to be in a match with that man again. It was just a constant string of death. But you know, so, lesson to all potential or aspiring game interviewers out there: if you ever get into a situation where you're playing a developer in his own game, be prepared to lose miserably and smile while you do it, because it's so much fun.
Oh yeah.
But I think one thing that I've really appreciated about playing through what I've played of War for the Overworld 2 is you guys have managed not only to keep kind of the same, I don't want to say sixth sense of humor, but I do want to say sixth sense of humor of the series, but
No, that's fair.
but also managed to inject your own spin on it.
Hmm.
Because the Chunder, I just love watching a Chunder work.
There's a reason that he's many of the dev team's favorite unit. He's just so ridiculous, and that headbutt, his
Yes.
stupid tongue, and his googly eyes.
Yes.
He's-
Chun-
Very, very confused unit.
He does look very confused most of the time. It's probably from all the concussions he causes himself.
Daily, yeah. Constant micro concussions. If he had any brain cells to start with, they're all gone now.
Doesn't he also use his head against the anvil as well?
Yes,
Yeah.
he does.
Yep. Concussion is a bitch. Right,
Yeah,
okay, I am on the wrong branch still.
He
I'm
is.
on 0.4.3.
I love what the server password Simburger setup is. Thank you, Simburger. Just as a note, that's also the password for our Broforce session that we've been running.
That really is the Broforce password as well.
Makes me wonder if Simburger was watching you suck at Broforce.
Probably.
Please don't do that in this game. So
What, suck?
yeah. So let's
can't
go ahead
help
and
it.
talk about Moobot. You're not even in the room.
Yeah, exactly.
Was that Harry?
Yeah.
Oh,
He wants
good.
attention.
He's joining in.
Sai, can you check on something for me? I've modded Simburger like 5 times.
Yeah. As far as I can see, he's not actually been modded in the chat.
I don't know if it's lag or not.
No, I'm actually remembering sort of ages ago when I was first modded on the chat. It took like a day for
Yeah,
the mod
sometimes
tool
it
to actually
doesn't
show up.
delay. I sent
I'd-
the link in our Skype call. One of you wants to post it.
There we go. I've got it.
I'll grab
Thank
it.
you, Sim. Simburger for the win.
What? No. Ah. You guys should just call Simburger.
Well, any of you guys, anybody that wants to join the Skype call is welcome. It's pretty easy. There's the pass.
I'm so glad I've got really, really hefty internets.
Yeah, I am too. Otherwise, I'd be screaming at you. But we should also talk about one other thing because somebody's going to ask the question. I just want to go ahead and get it out of the way. EA has recently come under some fire, and we were chortling to ourselves a little bit this week about their version of Dungeon Keeper.
That's not Dungeon Keeper. Don't call it that. Doesn't exist.
Well, they're calling it, and how not okay it is, and the fact that they're no longer allowed to advertise it as free to play in the UK.
Yeah, I saw that.
So, I actually wasn't that upset about it, but
Yes, has some strange laws over there.
Yeah, it was interesting. So, guys, yeah, we're not going to really spend a lot of time on that. We don't like to acknowledge the other Dungeon Keeper, so we're just going to let that go. We like War for the Overworld. Now Lone is back playing, so the video should come up shortly.
Yep.
So
it's on the way, guys. Don't worry.
No problem. Anybody that wants to find the game, by the way, it's really not that hard to find. But you don't just find it by typing War for the Overworld into your web browser. You need to go to wftogame.com, which is right here. Pay to win, keeper. So that'll take you there. Is the beta still... I haven't looked, obviously. Is the beta still purchasable on Steam?
Yep. On Steam or our website. We always prefer it if people buy it on our website because we get a little bit larger of a cut. But it's on Steam Early Access. You can find it there, and there are plenty of links.
So, guys, if you want to get the game, go ahead and grab it on their website because it helps them out more.
This immediately feels smoother as well. I don't know why, but it does actually feel a little bit smoother. My mouse looks a little bit smoother on there.
That's definitely a feature of this update, maybe.
Smoothness and polish.
Huh?
War for the Overworld new patch build now was 28% more polished.
Will I go and blow up the porker?
Well, if you want to play Simburger, he's hosting a lobby for you.
Yeah, you need to play Simburger. I want to watch you die.
Okay, right. Go to main menu. God.
Actually, we'll do this as an educational PSA for everybody. Guys, whenever you're buying a game, if you want to help the dev out to the fullest, buy it off their website if you can, because while Valve is a little more generous than some other services, they do take some off top. That's how Valve stays in business. That and Dota 2 and TF2 hats.
Oh, God, I buy so many hats. A problem.
Okay.
I wonder how
one of the two, yeah?
Yeah. I wonder how long it is before we see support groups for Hataholics Anonymous related to TF2. But yeah, there's a little ridiculous with hats. I'm just as bad about skins and Smite, so.
It looks like something changed internally, and so it's not actually hosting. Maybe.
Right, okay. Right. Click back then.
Yeah, I don't think so. Blame Scott. He's our tech lead, the one that's been working on fixing multiplayer, and we constantly give him shit for not having it figured out yet.
Right, let's go and blow up a porker.
I'm just imagining that you guys have him like locked in a basement somewhere, and he's just staring at server racks and frantically pressing buttons.
Well, he's already in jail because he lives in Australia. We won't let him leave until he fixes it.
Oh, burn. Well, we won't have him back. We sent him to Australia for a reason, I bet.
That was kind of mean of you guys to send all your prisoners to a horrible, horrible continent like Australia.
We saw there were spiders there, so we realized it would make a good prison.
Don't they have, like, dinner plate-sized frogs there?
Yes. Harry Cat would love it.
Yeah, God.
Okay, this map is awesome. You've changed this about quite a lot for the campaign prototype.
Yeah, we threw out the first one because it wasn't terribly fun, and this one has a lot more stuff scripted into it.
Can we have it back as a super secret in the main one? Because of course it was the Eurogamer trial.
We may have deleted it. It might still exist somewhere.
It hurts, guys. It hurts a little bit.
When it's not much,
I'm so sorry.
I
could take it all back. I might.
do.
It was a pretty bad map.
I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't one of my favorites. I do like the fact that it feels a little more natural to me the way that you control the camera in this game than some games like this I've played. Like you can do the same spinning and camera stuff in StarCraft, but
Oh, like the half spin? God,
yeah.
I can't help but do that constantly when I play a Blizzard game. I want everything to be centered as opposed to off tilt.
Yes, I'm not the only one that has that same just ridiculous little amount of OCD.
No, definitely not.
Piggy, oh boy. Rebuilt the scripting system. Yeah, what kind of things are you guys... How crazy does the scripting system allow you guys to go? Because just the whole lore and setup of Dungeon Keeper, you could do some really nutty things in these dungeons if you wanted to.
A lot of it, I mean... That's a good example. It'll play very similarly to a Supergiant game, in that when you do something, generally you'll get feedback from the narrator. So you'll kind of have this constant dialogue between what you're doing and the evil narrator.
Nice.
Helping you out. And we have a lot of very unique...
Can I just point out the Enrage skill? I love this skill icon.
Ah, yes. It's programmer art. Thank you, Stefan.
That's nice. I will say, anytime I hear Supergiant mentioned, that's always a little bit of a smile, because those guys have definitely demonstrated they have a definite flair for narration. So I also appreciate the fact that you guys have the right voice for the evil feedback in this game. That guy, the narrator, I love him. I want to do things just to hear him talk.
I do too. Yeah, it's been a blast working with Richard. He's only gotten better.
Does he ever just talk in that voice just randomly, just to mess with you guys? Just like you're just sitting around having coffee and suddenly he's doing the voice.
Unfortunately, I've never gotten coffee with him, but he has this evil laugh that he constantly busts out when we're in conversation, and it's so good.
It's probably also
I don't have words for it.
The first time you hear it, you're like,
I get transported back to being like a 12-year-old and playing Dungeon Keeper 2 again. There's that, the second he starts laughing.
Scarlett in the chat, so it's sort of like, she says, jealous, Wolf the Overlord has become like a mistress for Lone.
That's the reason Lone does not have his webcam on right now, is because Scarlett's actually throttling him while he tries to play the game.
Sorry, Scarlett.
I guess it adds to the experience, really, doesn't it? I mean, you know, you're making a dungeon full of torture and monsters and everything. So I guess strangling.
It's every time Richard Ridings talks, she just throttles me a little bit stronger. You're sick of his voice already.
Just be careful, because I'm just kind of thinking that could get awkward, given a couple of the units that are present in War for the Overworld.
Yeah.
I think Lone knows who I'm talking about.
Yep.
So you might want to be careful before you show those to Scarlett. She might just kill you. So, how many total units have you guys settled on for the final game?
Ooh. Okay, I can count. Wait, can I count? We're somewhat... Josh, help.
I know, I'm just throwing tons of questions at you.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, so we have 20 Underlord units confirmed. I think we've shown 20? We've shown 19. There might be one left that we haven't shown yet. And there will be less Empire units, but I guess greater than 30?
Okay.
Plus a handful of unique bosses spattered throughout the game.
Now, I guess, like Cyborg, Sai doesn't know quite as much about this game as we do, because she's just now gotten a computer that wouldn't choke and die if she tried to play it. So,
well, that's debatable.
You're having driver problems right now, is all it is. Win7 is notoriously picky to set up with certain things, but you'll be fine once we get you sorted.
Can I just say that the art looks absolutely fantastic on this when you're seeing through the eyes of a Chunder.
That's, of course, through the Chunder.
Yes. So, kind of tell everybody, like Sai, who knows the basic concept but not the intricacies, the difference between the underworld, or the Empire and the everything else in the game, because there is going to be some gameplay differences. Oh my god, that table looks amazing.
Didn't I just say? It really does, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
This game is sometimes best experienced first person. You get to see all the beautiful art that our guys made.
yeah, and that's another follow-up question, I guess, as well. Is this is a lot different in terms of making an overhead view, but also a fully realized first-person world.
Yeah, unfortunately our ceiling is still in its first iteration, kind of sloppily done, but yeah, it can be a blast to just walk around in your dungeon. I don't know, I'm a big D&D nerd, so I kind of get really excited.
The ceiling
walking
looks
around
awesome, though.
dungeon. Thanks, it gets a little glitchy if you haven't claimed tiles.
Yeah, no, I can see that, but to be honest, that's one of those things that you can kind of accept, considering that yeah, no, I can totally accept that.
I
Well,
like how it's
better.
very gothic still. You know, it really fits with what I would expect out of the dungeon.
Now, I'm being asked from behind me, what happens if I possess a micro pig? Should I just...
It should still be in the game. You can do it. I don't know if you can control them because I think their AI doesn't allow it, but you can definitely try.
Nope, I can't. I'm just slightly falling through the floor.
To give an idea of how far this has come, though, the very first time I played...
Your minions
yeah, I
have
just saw that on
researched
stream.
this
The very first time that I played War for the Overworld and I did the possession, something happened. So I was actually inside... I was about at imp height on my FO, or on my point of view, but I was inside a transparent wire frame of a
Yes.
human hero.
That sounds about our first 6 months or so.
Yeah, it was. It was a little off-putting, but I also, obviously doing this show, but also being a gamer, I was more excited than concerned because, like, oh my god, they actually got the possession to work. They'll get rid of the wireframe and fix the point of view.
Chanda has entered your dungeon.
Yeah, we have a long way to come with. That's one of the last things that we'll be focusing on to make it really immersive and make all the characters, or at least the ones that would have unique vision, we'll be putting that in there.
So are we going to get, like, I don't know, like, say, like, infrared vision or something, you know, just really different vision modes for certain creatures, or is it just going to be different
Might.
points of views, or...
Oh, let your imagination run wild.
Would you come
But you'll have to wait until
by now?
WFTO Wednesday when we spotlight it.
Damn! That's the one thing that kills me about this, is having to wait till every Wednesday. I'm like, is it out yet? Is it out yet? Like, I will sit there and hammer F5 on your webpage.
As Scarlet
We're
said,
really
you're,
bad at
you're the
updating
chi-
on a specific time on that day.
As Scarlet said, Dime, you're the child that comes down at midnight and opens just one present.
What, on Christmas?
Yep.
Is available to you.
Are you kidding me? My dad would have thrown me out the second story window if I did something like that. So, did you build that massive odd-shaped treasure room, or did that come with the map?
A necromancer
I
came
has
to map.
entered your dungeon.
It's Simberger having fun.
Okay. I was going to say, that's Simberger torturing RTS players' OCD about building symmetrical square rooms in this game.
Of which I am one.
Although I think it is symmetrical with the opposite side of the map, so if you look at it from the map design point of view, like top down over the whole map, everything is very nice and clean.
Fair enough. At least it's not as bad as some stuff I see. Like, I'm one of those players that, we were talking about Blizzard games, I rage when I see, like, an incoherent SimCity in StarCraft 2.
Chanda
Oh
has
yeah,
entered your
no,
dungeon.
everything has to be lined up perfectly.
Yes. Yes. Look at all
That's-
that
I still
gold
play
right there, Lone.
Yeah, I'm getting the gold.
You need to hurry up and get the gold.
I'm getting the gold.
How hard was the imp pathfinding in this game? Because I remember imps in particular were one of the biggest nuisances in the old games, and I'm sure they were probably... I remember them being a little bit of a pain in the butt a couple times in here, but it seems like you guys smoothed them out fairly quickly.
Yeah, there's still a little bit of AI work to be done on them,
A
but
necromancer
in general, they
has
should
entered
be
your
smart
dungeon.
about tasks and be less suicidal than in, I guess, previous iterations of the genre.
I've known them to be really suicidal. I actually had one imp here, and it was in the which mission is it? It was one of the missions a couple builds ago where you have to taking out the other dungeon heart, and I mined through one side, coming around for a sneak attack in the room by the enemy dungeon heart, and then I told my imp to I rallied him back to base, and instead of walking right back out the hole he had just dug, he decided to go.
Through the dungeon.
He went all the way through the enemy dungeon.
They're very efficient, so it was probably a shorter path.
Yeah, Dime. That's the map this one has replaced.
Ah. Yeah, you're probably right. It probably was a shorter path, but I don't know how the little guy lived, but he did somehow.
Oh, that might have been the patch where imps were invulnerable. At some point, they couldn't be killed.
Oh dear, I love this. That just as my imps are starting to dig through, the enemy imps are reinforcing.
This is going to be a stalemate for a while. So, I like the traps that are in this game too. I always felt like traps were a real necessity, but sometimes didn't function that well in this type of game. Like you really needed them to work, but they were finicky. And
Yeah, and a handful were just reskins of the exact same defense.
yes,
The different, yeah.
Right,
As
people are
we have yet to
probably
show
shouting at me.
Lord, your prowess at following
Do you have the
instructions
shockwave?
was
That's
only
the
rivaled by your
one. No,
wanton
that's not the one.
disregard for the lives of your minions.
How do I get
I
through?
think we have
here,
one or
then?
two defenses left to add to the game, and one of them is like the super defense, kind of like our super units. We have a super defense that will be amazing.
nice. Now, this is just a purely speculative question. Do you get, when you guys were working on the defensive traps and anything? Did you guys ever? And now I can't even think of the name of the game. Is it Orcs versus Humans? What is that game? Orcs Must Die.
Right?
Yeah, did you ever look at the traps in Orcs Must Die and were like, well, damn.
I know I played it, and I'm sure Simberg and I had talked about it at some point. I don't know. I don't know if we borrowed any ideas from them.
Has been researched.
I honestly can't remember any of them right now, except for the one that tosses people.
Yeah, that's probably one of my favorites.
Well done, Simburger. Well done.
Lone, you are, yeah.
Austin Big's got his mod sword.
Yeah, he finally got his mod sword. Sim, you
That's
should be able
good.
to post
None
links now.
has entered your dungeon.
Go ahead and give it a shot. If it doesn't work, I'll unban you. So,
They just make it through. Well done, imps. Well done.
good imps. I love one of my favorite little just nods is the fact that the imps still dance like idiots to reinforce walls. Like they're not. You're like, what are they actually doing? They're just hopping back and forth from foot to foot, but they look so serious when they do it.
They're very intense. They take their dancing incredibly seriously.
They are.
Yeah, sorry about that, Sim. I was just enjoying watching that happen.
Down under, Lord. These
Imp
sorts
battles
of
are
dogs will
probably
be
like
open
the-
enough for you to improve your dungeon.
Imp battle is worse than watching two probes chase each other in a certain other RTS. Right. It's nice to have the chunk possessing back, because that was kind of a thing that was in Dungeon Keeper 2 that drove me bonkers in Dungeon Keeper 1, was that the imps would go around and possess like every little tile.
Oh yeah.
And chunk possessing is just nice. So, Sai, one thing
Try
I
to
think,
keep people happy.
Sai, I think one thing you might find interesting about this game is, Lone, can you demonstrate how you keep your monsters fed?
What by like the micro piglets? What? Why have I do it? A blue chunder?
The micro
actually a
piglets
beast.
replacing the chicken from the original Dungeon Keeper. Then,
Yes, they are.
yeah,
Best when you lightning bolt them.
yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, I've actually managed to play like a bit of Dungeon Keeper, so I have some ideas of like the game that War for the Overworld was based off, at least.
Yeah, what
Even
is
if I
that?
haven't played War for the Overworld.
Wow, that blue chunder is just going to... I would say going ham on those pigs, but that's a little disturbing.
New skills available to
Going ham.
It's our placeholder Beastmaster. How we get him
An
rigged.
ogre has entered your dungeon.
There's a scarlet dragon going, oh no, poor micro pig, but then going, hee hee hee, eat it. Yeah, no, that's evil. But
Here's a sign that we've been streaming too long, guys. Lone is giving thumbs up to a webcam that's not turned on, and Scarlet's waving at it. So we will take a quick aside here to note that we are actually, and the Subterranean guys were gracious enough to come on this weekend as well, but we are doing this for charity, guys, for Games Aid. So all this streaming, all this insanity, and you getting to watch the staff slowly go insane from sleep deprivation,
I'm
Is,
trying to decide which of the colours I prefer the Chunder. I think I like the blue.
Ogre has entered your dungeon.
What's the deal with the blue Chunder?
He's a placeholder.
Ah, he's
Yeah,
cool.
we don't have the Beastmaster rig yet.
Oh, he's the
A new sin has
Beastmaster.
been
Oh,
researched.
well, there
So
you
he has
go
all the
then.
code for the Beastmaster and all the behaviors. He just is a blue Chunder. Kind of like the arena is a blue prison, I think.
I like the blue Chunder. He's cool.
Maybe we'll have to add an Easter egg.
Just have him hanging out in the corner somewhere in a map. But yeah, guys, donations you can go to. Sloan, you need to pop it back up. I'll put it in the chat. You need to go to you can go to justgiving.com/Sanitarium.FM and click on the donate buttons. All the proceeds go straight to Games Aid, which is a UK-based charity. They do incredible things. We're really excited to be working with them. So, yeah,
Donate all the money.
Yes, donate all the money. Exclamation point, just give will not work right now because I've kicked Moobot because he kept on hating on Simburger.
There was definitely some Moobot Simburger hate there.
Yeah. So, one question that we've had, will you release a soundtrack if you make one? I certainly hope the soundtrack does get released.
We will be. I think it's included in the Underlord edition of the game. I believe
Ooh,
that
I have
includes
that.
the soundtrack.
Yeah, I've got the Underlord.
The other goodies.
A new sin
You guys will
has
have the
entered.
soundtrack. The
Excellent.
lovely Dan Atkins and Dante de Glanville.
So one question that, and I don't know which one of you guys can speak to this because I know we've got a ton of guys here, but Kickstarter and also Steam Early Access are kind of new things. What's it? I know that you already said, James, that we really wouldn't be doing what we're doing today without Kickstarter.
Or early access, honestly.
So how's it been for you guys as a team working with them? Because we've heard from a lot of developers that Kickstarter is really great, but Steam Early Access we've either heard love it or leave it kind of attitudes. Just kind of depends.
From a financial point of view, it's been incredibly helpful. It means that we can continue working on the game as long as we want, as opposed to having to rush it out based on Kickstarter funds.
Mhm.
We would not still be able to develop the game full-time if we didn't have it right now. The income kind of keeps us afloat and lets us pay all of our people. And we've only really had good experiences with it. Fortunately, it seems like everyone that plays our game likes it, and we haven't had too much negative feedback. We've had a ton of positive feedback and added more people to our community as well. And generally, they give awesome suggestions or are able to help us playtest. Like having, tens of thousands of playtesters, even if someone only makes one bug report or just plays and says something to a friend, it's really cool.
Yeah, and you
It's
guys have
incredibly useful.
two really good things, or really strong things going for you with this game as far as word of mouth goes. One, the game is a hell of a lot of fun. And two, you've got a massive nostalgia factor because of what it's the spiritual successor to.
It's almost unfair.
In a way, it would be almost unfair, but I have seen projects like this before. We all have, where it's the spiritual successor to something, and unfortunately, it just sucks. And you guys definitely are making a game that's a lot of fun. So,
It's a love letter to the 90s.
Oh no, it's a love letter to everything. Proper PC gaming for one. Because that's the thing. You going back to what you just said there was the fact that a lot of people have been like good feedback and stuff. It's one game actually that I bought on early access. I haven't had to say anything or make a suggestion. You guys are like in my head. Everything
we
is
were all
coming
big
together.
fans.
This is. I was playing Dungeon Keeper 2 the other day and thinking, I really want to play Wolf of the Overworld instead.
yeah. It's the same for me. There's only one other game I've ever bought in Steam Early Access where I've never really had to say much because it was like the devs were ahead of me already, and that's Chucklefish with Starbound. It's just the same concept. Like the groundwork is there. It's just all the little refinements that I'm playing. I'm like, man, this would be great. And then I go to look in the forums, and it's like, yeah, we're working on that already.
Oh, someone could have told me all my imps were dead.
That's your job as a
Thanks,
dungeon.
Scarlet.
All of your workers are dead. They'll slowly respawn up to 5 or 6. I forget the actual number. What's wrong with that bridge there?
Yeah, what is that?
I don't think it's joined up properly. Whether my minion... Nah,
Yeah, I think it might be broken. The connectors are probably broken.
As I say, it looks like the tile just didn't click
Right.
over.
Taking it now. Let's see if that joins up. Nope.
Lone Samurai doing a little bit of live testing.
Live benchmark, and I really don't mind. Love it.
You know, Lone, I think it might honestly just be that the graphic, the tile didn't complete, because if you look at the imps, they're just pathfinding over it with, they're pathfinding over it with no problem. So.
It must be. Oh, that's probably an issue with our prefabs right now. They're not quite working the way that they should. Known bug. I think we're fixing that on Monday.
There you go.
A ghoul.
So screen cap it now, Lone. It won't happen after Monday.
That's fine. No, it never happened. You never saw it, people.
That's right.
You saw nothing.
It has no bugs at all.
Yeah, no bugs at all. Actually, I do remember you guys at Eurogamer last year. You're like, yeah, give us a minute.
An order has entered your dungeon.
Even though it seemed to be running fine, you really weren't happy with it, but everyone at your booth was like, love it, love it, love it.
Actually, Kazetta just brought up something in the chat that I've seen before too. The imp freeze trap mass murder.
Yes.
That was probably one of the funniest things I've ever seen in this game. It was just like, heard noise. What is happening? So, the question we always ask is, YouTube has definitely also changed the way that indie games and projects like this have gotten out there, and you guys have had a lot of exposure on YouTube.
Yes, we have. We gotten lucky a couple times. Between Total Biscuit and Yogscast Hannah, doing a couple spotlights each, or at least mentioning our game briefly.
TB is kind of an interesting one because he's a very opinionated man. We'll just say that,
and very anti-early access generally.
Yeah, he hates early access a lot of the time.
Fly, my minions, fly! Oh.
But yeah, it's interesting because I've even done my own videos on this on my channel, and I'm certainly not Total Biscuit, but
no, you are not.
Yes, I'm not an angry, balding British man.
Exactly. So. You're very much not.
But it's interesting to me how YouTube has really changed the way that you guys are able to get your game exposure these days, because it used to be all word of mouth were the major outlets, and
right, and now you don't have to rely on getting that tiny amount of attention that any press outlet has for a random indie game, and instead you can get someone that just wants to play it and share it with their many followers.
I just killed all my imps again. I didn't notice the crossbows there.
I've done. I think War for the Overworld has showed up in 1, 2, 3, 4 of my videos, and I'm a small channel, only just over 100 subscribers, and I'm pushing 600 views just on this game, so people are interested.
That's great. We absolutely love it whenever we see someone doing any sort of spotlight of our game. It's especially on a bad day, like if work isn't working out the way that you want it to. Sit back, watch someone else play the game, and just seeing them enjoy it is a great way to recharge.
Yeah, somebody just brought it up in the chat, and kind of do you guys ever, when somebody's going to do YouTube coverage, if they're talking to you, do you ever kind of, or in the early days, did you worry about the reaction? Because if you remember the whole thing with, let's just use him, TB, and the Gary's incident thing, or some of the other stuff he's panned. No, not Gary's mod. Day one Gary's incident.
Oh, Gary's. Yeah, no, sorry.
The Gary's incident.
Yes, that's the one.
With some of the bigger YouTubers, it can be pretty traumatic in some ways for devs if they're like, no, it's bad, we hate it. I mean, it's still free advertising, but it's not really the kind you want. So there was ever that kind of worry of handing the game off to somebody you really didn't know how they were going to react to it?
Maybe in the early days, but in general, we think that anyone that downloads our game kind of knows what they're in for and knows what the game is about. And if they don't like it, then there's probably nostalgia-tinted glasses on their face that they can't see, just sort of like the changes that we made, and kind of made it our own.
Probably unreasonable nostalgia, because I've definitely got nostalgia glasses where this game comes in, but as you can no doubt tell from talking to us, but I'm really excited about it because you guys have taken a lot of the things that annoyed me as much as I love the original games. A lot of the stuff in those games, you go back and play, and there's some broken stuff in those games.
There's a lot of quality of life issues, definitely.
Yeah, so it's nice to see those being addressed. Like the nostalgia tinted glasses just kind of make me appreciate the things you guys are doing to make it better. And Lone, you are going super ballsy on this map, man.
As always.
James, did you see how much he's just excavated there?
Yeah, I've never. Well, it's a bold strategy. Let's see if it pays off.
I mean, I think you're trying to make yourself a killing field, but I have a feeling that it's going to be a killing field for your minions.
No, that's just the bedroom.
It's just the bedroom. This game. There's one thing that's really disappointing when you're playing War for the Overworld, and that's carving out a big room and then going to select it, and then tile it over, and the cursor turns red only halfway through.
When you cheat and get infinite money.
Do I even dare ask if you guys are doing the old school homage and putting some cheat codes in this thing?
Ooh. Our policy on spoilers is that if we talk about them, they won't be spoilers.
That is perfect.
I feel like that's a
Fair
spoiler.
Enough. That's fair. That is absolutely fair.
Approaching from all directions.
Cheat codes are something that aren't in enough games these days. I was delighted when I found out that Shovel Knight had the butt code in it.
Did it? Or does it, I guess?
Yeah, it's got 324 codes, which I think is a bit excessive. But one of them replaces common words like shovel and knight with the word butt. So the main character in the dialogue becomes butt. So it's pretty funny to be preparing for a fight and the guy that's fighting you screams at you, "Still yourself, butt." Just good humor. I like when cheat codes and stuff like that are in games. I know it's something I grew up with because I still remember IDDQD for Doom and Power Overwhelming for Warcraft and StarCraft.
Oh yeah.
There is no cow level, which is such an obscure reference. Like that's when you're self-referencing another of your own games, you are definitely
You're Blizzard.
You're Blizzard. In fact, they've taken that to a new level. They're building an entire game out of self-referencing. It's called Heroes of the Storm.
Ooh, I've been kind of addicted to that over the past few days.
I can't get into it. I'm so sad. Hold on, let me check Battle.net and see if I have access again. Like, I obsessively do that.
It's one of those I check just to make sure I'm in it, just to let him know that I am.
Oh, that's mean.
And that will be the end of the radio station. All you guys will all hear about it because there will be an elaborate ritual murder of a man in Cheltenham.
I love how you say that, Dime.
What?
Cheltenham.
They're just jealous of our American accents.
They are jealous of our American accents. He's been salty all weekend, ever since Freedom Day.
The enemy is sending fire breathers to assault your dungeon.
Because of all the freedom bucks we've got in the... there
Hey,
we go, there's the money appearing. Come on, there we
Look,
go. Appear, money.
On Friday, we were just sitting around over here watching fireworks, eating freedom burgers, and,
Freedom burgers.
Konami code for WFTO. What would that even do?
Give all the monies.
I'm not saying we already have ideas.
Oh dear.
I'm kind of, Zymek mentioned the Konami code. It makes, or not Zymek, Kazana. It makes me think of a song I play sometimes on my shows called, by Kirby Crackle called Up, Up, Down, Down. It's a completely
I know
normal
the Deftones song. I don't know that one.
Yeah, this one, it's completely normal for most of it. It's about like a gamer geek trying to get with a gamer girl. And it tells the story of their first date, and then at the end, and the video for it's hilarious, at the end she drags him into the house and stabs him because she's been stalking him for weeks. And that just...
Spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers. It somehow fits with Dungeon Keeper, I think. We need to do a...
It's very torture chamber-like.
Can we do a version of that with the succubus and horny?
We don't talk about
not with horny, but yes,
we don't talk about horny.
yeah, that's right. I'm sorry, I forgot. We can't use horny.
Yeah, no, but after that court case, no, you can't talk about horny anyway. It was a whole thing.
The holy
Yeah, no, that's what I meant by use. I completely forgot about that. Probably because I was so disappointed from it, I erased it from my memory.
The wounds inflicted by your traps.
But, Lone, what are you doing, aside from trying to die?
I'm surprised you haven't died yet.
Because I'm awesome.
A battle has entered
You are
your
not,
dungeon.
yes, a self-reference tip. Your nocturnal persistence has earned you a hidden gaming tip.
A
Go to
stag has
bed.
entered your dungeon.
That's kind of like what Nintendo does these days, and it's kind of annoying. I don't,
You mean,
Oh,
you mean-
that you've been playing for a very long time.
yeah, they're like, you should go outside and take a break. It's like,
I didn't mean to
And I
build
keep playing,
beast
but I walk
dens.
outside.
That's not what I wanted to build because you distracted me.
Darling has
yeah,
entered your
I'm
dungeon.
waiting on Nintendo to build a daylight sensor into their system so that you actually have to take it outside before it'll shut up.
Yeah, and I mean, Nintendo have actually sort of been at this sort of stuff for years. Because I mean, the original Animal Crossing, if you actually turn the game off without saving it, the next time you turn it on, you get that mole Rossetti shouting at you.
I hate that mole. I hate that.
So do I. I hate that mole as well.
He would be a good Easter egg in War for the Overworld.
If we could get the rights, maybe.
Yeah, I was going to say you would never get the right. Miyamoto might laugh hard enough to say yes, but Nintendo's corporate lawyers would be like, no.
Your minions have received
Miyamoto says it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, I guess he pretty much is Nintendo.
Well, yeah.
enough.
Your dungeon is full of yogurts. See, there's so much fun that you can just have with the concept
Your
of
dungeon.
this game and just how silly the sense of humor can really be sometimes. Now, let's see. What else was in the recent... that was the WFT Wednesday I was looking for right there. So, the Gold Vortex. That is a really, really nice little add-on right there, because that's one of the worst things in the world is waiting for an imp to walk halfway across the map.
Yes, especially if you're trying to take away your enemy's gold.
Which is an extremely valid tactic in this game.
Definitely. It should be fun in the campaign as well.
The other one was, I like the replacement wall.
Yeah, I think it's something that was missing from other games in this genre. It lets you be OCD. In a very...
Unlocked.
It really does. How long did y'all struggle against actually officially naming it the OCD wall?
A chunder
That's a
has
good
entered
question.
your dungeon.
I could ask Josh. Probably months.
But yeah, that was the first thing I thought. Even before I really read the full description, I saw the,
Your minions have
replace the white box of ugly with a new improved box of OCD goodness. I saw the picture of it and I was like, that's for people like me that are just completely overboard about that stuff.
Cultist has entered your dungeon.
There's nothing worse than having someone break into your dungeon and mess up your walls, your rooms.
Yeah,
That's not
Damn
cool.
enemies.
it's
the hell?
inconsiderate as hell is what it is.
Put a lot of time and effort into making it perfect.
Yeah.
Perfectly evil.
The portcullis is probably my favorite gate in the game, too, because it looks like an incredibly evil vertical turnstile from a train station.
Yeah,
Crossing.
it kind of is.
So, I just, I appreciate the humor that goes into all the writing. And what I was talking about earlier with, you guys keeping the same sense of humor and injecting your own is just, the portcullis is a form of gate that is superior in every way to a wooden door.
It's true, though.
It is, but you go on, guys, and they literally said it takes the strength of brick and mortar wall, combines it with the practicality of a doorway. Not only that, but it's a breeze to install and virtually maintenance free.
Your minions have researched
well,
a
thank
sin
you.
for
It's it's literally written, and that's what I like about all the new unit descriptions for the most part in the War for the Overworld Wednesdays. They're written basically as if I was a dungeon keeper, kicking my heels up at breakfast, reading the ads in the newspaper. It's like, dungeon keeper mart. What can I buy today? And this is what's on sale.
Thank you so much. I'm blushing a little bit. I love writing the weekly posts and hearing that they're actually a little bit decent.
Oh, they are. They crack me up. They really do. So, there's the occasional dry one. That's like the patch, the performance enhancing bugs stuff for the patch notes. But still, the War for the Overworld Wednesdays are always fun. And I just look for the little W icon. I'm like, yep.
Oops. My apologies.
No problem. Let's see.
Are you cheating? Because I feel like you're cheating.
Yeah, he's.
Entered your dungeon.
Oh, here they come.
Something.
How would I cheat?
Necromancer has entered your dungeon.
What wave is he on?
Wave 4.
Oh.
I just don't know how you made it to wave 4.
This is where they go back. Monday's patch. Increased difficulty level for survival map. Shit.
Might have to.
Torture
You did say
Sorry,
that you
guys.
guys have really never played a ton of it.
Next
Why know
time
how
I
to
see
beat
you
it, and that's to activate the developer console and summon infinity units to defend. But I don't know how to beat it without cheating.
But
So
you're,
are you guys going to be at EGX this year?
A cultist has entered your dungeon.
That's a question for Simburger.
more,
say it's-
more important question: are you guys going to ever show up at PAX so that I can actually get there?
Perhaps. It's very expensive though.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. That's a pretty long way for a lot of the team, I think, and
For everyone on the team except for me.
yeah.
I'm on the West Coast. I guess
Well-
we have a couple on the East Coast, but everyone else is overseas.
Even for the guys in the States, it depends on which PAX you go to, because technically you could make it the longest trip in the world, and all of you go to PAX Australia.
Your dungeon.
Aha! I forgot about that one.
Damn it.
Yeah, Sim just said probably not PAX too expensive. I probably can't blame you. Although I do seem to remember the Penny Arcade guys doing a comic about the game. So
And
Really?
can I just say, I do apologise to everybody watching this. I think I have just upped the difficulty for the survival map. 'Cause unless, of course, I've caught a bug, because there isn't anything coming. Wave 5 hasn't started yet.
you may have caught a bug. There's just something not right here.
A chunder has
Occasionally it
entered
breaks.
your dungeon.
I'm not sure what's going on. Or there's a minion that hasn't died somehow.
You've received
knows?
a new skin.
He's just hanging out somewhere. Oh, there's the lava. All right, I hadn't actually seen it yet. The texturing on it looks a lot better.
That might be Simburger's texture.
At lone, it's broken. F4, then F7 turns off Fog of War.
F4? Ooh, then F7. Oh yeah, that's the one. I
It'll
thought.
freeze for a second, yeah.
Yeah,
They said
there you
there's
go.
units hiding at the end of the paths, probably.
They're probably sat there going, "That's too awesome a dungeon. We can't possibly break that."
No, I really doubt that's how that's happening. Freeze on my screen. Lone, did you just break the game?
No, it froze. Yeah, no, they're all sat here doing Carter and just like praying that they can beat me. Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah, there they are.
I think occasionally they will flee from combat and then they'll lose their
They run away too
desire
easily.
to do anything.
Yep. Hey guys, if you've ever wondered why the Fog of War exists, aside from making your vision annoying in games, this is part of why. So the devs can hide things that they don't want you to see.
Sorry, I did press F5. It's a new keyboard. I'm getting used to this new keyboard as well.
So
It's a whole new PC, just so I can play
My
War for the
dungeon-
World.
My little dungeon. Let's talk about this real quick. The fact that you have a you pressed F5 too. The fact that you have a sandbox mode, I love.
Yeah, we have actually something very special in store when we finally release the game. There should be, if you enjoy sandbox mode, can't say anything else, but you should be excited.
I enjoy sandbox mode. I also giggled like a schoolboy the first time I loaded it up and saw exactly what he's panning over right now.
Oh, the
It's the massive vein of gold. It's like, ooh, this is actually going to be super fun.
yes,
was
this
to
was
me,
kind
it
of our
was-
first, our
these
pre-prototype
here.
of survival.
I was going to say, when I did first play it, I was like, I literally thought to myself, they used this to test and they just left it in here for us to have fun with. Which is not a bad thing at all, but
No. Turns out it's kind of fun to be able to summon an infinite number of enemy units to fight.
yeah. My high score is 450-ish. Okay. My high score is nowhere close to that.
He cheats, though.
Well, of course. You guys have all the fun toys.
Yeah, I cheat when we have the radio station, when we're doing stuff in the radio station. It's the boss's job to cheat slightly.
Is that
thing?
Is that
Not
why I
really.
was the only one left alive at the end of every Broforce level yesterday?
Yeah.
We load into a Broforce level, and this dude literally dies within the first step.
That? I keep getting Chuck Norris. He doesn't want to live anymore.
Wow! That's kind of harsh. So, any, I know you guys are obviously still in beta. Any idea when we can start expecting to get some really fun story stuff? Or is that a spoiler? Did we lose James?
I think we might have briefly
Hello?
lost him, yeah. Oh, no, there he
I
is.
believe my mic. I guess I had my headset up
Ah.
too high and it muted me. Yes, that is kind of a spoiler. We're saving 100% of all of our campaign and story stuff outside of the occasional teaser and War for the World Wednesday for release, so that people that play during early access have a whole slew of new content to explore.
Can I just say I'm really happy you're doing that, because I don't want to burn out on the first two or three levels of the campaign like I do on MMOs.
Right. Yeah, we actually thought about releasing one or two of them early, but decided against it.
I could see that, especially because I've just come out of beta testing for a game that had, if you were going to put the time into it, you could do all the content during their beta,
Oh yeah.
which was Wildstar.
Huh. Yeah.
And that was, I got pretty far, and I forced myself to stop because I literally was like, I'm going to have to play all this again in full release. And that's no small thing for an MMO campaign or for a campaign in a game like this.
Right.
So I literally forced myself to stop at level 20. I was like, because there were level 50s at the end of the beta. So.
Actually, they've just actually answered as well in the Twitch chat. Something that I was going to ask as well was, are you going to have an alternative to, like in the Dungeon Keeper games, a super gold or like the gems that they had? So that's actually been answered now, which is great. So you're actually going to have like an infinite money source in some levels, yeah?
Yes. Right now they're called gold shrines. It takes a little bit longer to mine them, and they're not as efficient as mining straight gold out of a seam. But if endless wealth is what you want, dreams will
Obviously.
be answered.
At least they're a little slower, because the one thing I do remember about the diamonds, and it was said in the chat, was that they were OP as hell.
Yeah.
So,
Yes, they were. That endless money constantly streaming in.
yeah, they were broken. But yeah, I'm really glad that you guys are gonna throw that little nod in there, because at some point we all like to just have that little power fantasy and just mine endless money.
Definitely. And on some multiplayer maps it makes it kind of fun because you don't have to do any gold seams, which lets us design things in a much more interesting way.
Yeah, kind of take away from the normal flow of multiplayer, which multiplayer, how hard is multiplayer to design in a game like this? Because I mentioned it earlier, you do have unit control, but it's not, you're not going to be microing like you do
Right.
in other games. It's just this game is not, and never has been in this genre, built that way.
A lot of it comes down to how units interact with one another, and then balancing that out with, like the slight buffs and boosts that you, as an Underlord, can give your minions in battle. And I think most importantly, sort of strategic planning and finding ways to attack your enemy where they're weakest.
Yeah, and that's one thing I appreciate about the way that War for the World and this genre have approached it, is there's a lot more. It's kind of the difference between tactics and strategy. In a more tactical version of these games, you're doing the direct controlling, but here you're setting up the overall strategy and having to just play your little key part to make sure that that group of chunders over there gets to see what they need to see in order to focus where you sort of want them to go.
Right.
No, I appreciate the balance there, because it makes it a very different multiplayer experience, and I know that it turns some people off. I have a couple friends who love the idea of the single player, but just rage because they can't micro in the multiplayer, and I'm like, well, you played the single player of this type of game. What do you expect is going to happen in the multi?
Right. That's completely fair. I know I'm not the biggest fan of multiplayer, but for me, like, this game is all about just making pretty dungeons. I like the sandbox mode.
Yeah, as I say, you probably just love your job because of that.
Oh yeah, I get to play the game that I'm working on, and yeah, I can't imagine anything better than that.
No, I can't believe I like that kind of tone of voice. Like, oh, I shouldn't rub this in too hard.
The game that I wanted for a decade that now we're making.
Yeah, I'm glad that it's happening. I know it's a love of labor for you guys, or labor of love. God, words. Lone, how long
It's
have we been
both.
awake?
Oh, what?
Yeah, see, yeah, it is both, I guess, in a way. It's I know that you said a while ago that you needed to head out in about 10 or 15, and we've monopolized a ton of your time.
Ew. Oh no, it's my pleasure.
Oh, we're glad to have you guys, and I'm sure Lowen will just go ahead. We'll say it too, but you guys are always welcome to just basically crash in on anything we're doing.
Yes.
It'll
Yeah.
be our pleasure.
So,
Harass you a bit on Skype
Well,
now that I.
you all have me on Steam, so you're more than welcome to message me anytime if you want some game time. If there's a big release, we'll happily do it. Yeah, because well, I'm a fanboy. I'm
we are.
pretty sure
Remember.
the same will be said if Poltergeist Zero was here. He'd say the same for Yacht Club Games, but that's another story entirely.
well, didn't Polter have a beard off with somebody from Subterranean?
He did.
He did, yes.
That was fun. And there
So-
were tips
I
on
don't
beard
remember.
management given as well, which was amusing.
Novinda says you guys have made a new, very poor fan here.
Aw, thank you.
That's kind of what happens when you throw this game in front of people. I've been hard pressed to find somebody who doesn't love this game just based on the art style alone. So, James, we appreciate you stopping by. Like we said, the door is always open for you guys. So,
Yeah.
I guess
A new sales
we're going to continue streaming and trying to raise some money for charity.
Yes, everyone who's watching, if you love me or this game
crypt
or freedom,
unlocked.
donate money.
Donate
Guys,
money
you
for the
have to
children. Do it for the children and freedom.
For tiny little babies.
Yes.
Because the tiny little babies need to play War for the Overworld and learn morals from
littlest
it.
people.
Wait, what?
They do. We need to make sure that this game is preserved for the tiny little babies.
Which means it'll probably be on GOG.com in like a year's time.
Nah, it'll take longer than that. All right. Well, James, thanks for joining us, man.
Thank you. Good luck with the rest of your event. And,
Thanks very much for
I'm sure
joining
I'll
us,
talk
James.
To you guys soon.
Appreciate it.
Good to talk to you again,
Good to talk.
and to meet you both.
Yeah, man.
Take it easy.
Cheers.
I'm properly geeking out now.
I know. And thanks to Sim and everybody else, Pete Fighter, everybody else that was in the chat. Thank you so much for joining us for that. We've been looking forward to this for literally ever.
Yeah. Yes, we have. I'm so unbelievably happy right now. I know I said we were going to, during my show I was going to stream some more MMO-age, but I'm going to carry on playing this.
So
For now. Sorry
yeah.
guys. If you don't want to watch this anymore, well, I'm sorry. Just go and donate and